Hey, good evening, everybody. Well, after disappointing losses in their conference tournaments, both basketball teams at Ball State will leave their dancing shoes in the closet this year. No NCAA tournament for the men or the women, but both still have an opportunity to end their seasons on a high note. It says it in his Twitter bio. At BSU Coach Brady wants to make this program a household name, and wins like this on the road against in-state rivals will go a long way towards doing that. It's that consistency, combined with his power, that has made Staten one of the most lethal hitters in all of the Mid-American Conference. But this year, a new challenge. He's trading in his first baseman's mitt for a catcher's mitt. The Cardinals are averaging 85 points per game over their last 6 games, and one of the keys to offensive efficiency, free throws. He says if they can do that, they might do a better job containing Taylor in the second half, and they have to be able, guys, to match Toledo's energy level and the energy level of the Red Panda.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was probably a great report, but I'm just looking over your left shoulder.
Hey, good evening, everybody. The Indiana Hoosiers were back inside the friendly confines of Assembly Hall tonight, coming off of perhaps their most disappointing loss of the season, a road setback against Penn State. Now, Chandler says the sport is growing in popularity, and the crowd behind me is evidence of that. Outside of an engaged crowd, the #1 key on Brady Salih's board for this game, toughness and discipline. He says Purdue's a good team. They're going to go on runs. Ball State has to be mentally strong enough to handle that kind of adversity in this game and respond to it. Another key stat to watch out for in this game, guys, rebounding. Purdue is 6-1 this year when they out-rebound their opponents, 0-3 when they don't. Ball State has only lost that battle once this year, Joe and Amber. Yeah, you guys have touched on it throughout the broadcast. The issues for this team to this point in the season have been on the defensive end, but Coach Drunkemeyer told me going into the locker room he was pleased with the work they did on that end of the floor in the first half. After dropping their first 2 conference games, the Cardinals needed to get back on track to bowl eligibility. Thanks to a big second-half effort from their sophomore running back, they were able to do just that. James Gilbert ran for a career-high 264 yards on 34 carries in Ball State's 31-21 win. It was the second-best single-game rushing performance in program history. I think Eastern's the more talented team there. The reason I pick Eastern in that game, I mean, certainly Northern's more than capable of winning it, but when you play against the zone of Eastern Michigan, you have to be able to knock down some outside shots, and Northern's biggest weakness is their outside shooting. They've just really struggled to make perimeter jump shots this year, so for that reason, I think Eastern Michigan wins at home. Dunham had worked out for 3 other teams prior to today. He has one other workout scheduled in Chicago on Monday, but this one, for the Indiana kid, was a special one. Already up 13, Colin Hartman says, "Look what I found." And on the other end, check out number 33 running the floor. Troy Williams saves it. Hartman bangs it. Assembly Hall, loud noises. The first challenge for Ball State in Mid-American Conference play, Northern Illinois. Now, the Cardinals haven't beaten the Huskies since 2008, but you don't have to remind anyone on this team of that fact. They're all very well aware. Minicamp practice was held right here at Lucas Oil Stadium on Wednesday, and it was open to the public, an opportunity for these fans to get their first glimpse of the 2016 Colts on the field. Moving to football, the Colts enter their final week of voluntary off-season workouts as they prepare for minicamp next Tuesday. There's been a lot of talk about the new faces in the locker room, especially the rookies. Later on in the first half, it's Davis again, stepping into a tray ball in transition. Purdue up 16. Mackey is lit. Now, if you look at the preseason Mid-American Conference polls, Ball State was picked to finish 5th in the West Division, but don't tell head coach Mike knew that because he's been here before. But Kobe and the Lakers came all the way back, less than 3 minutes to go. Mamba puts the Lakers up by 3 with this tough fadeaway jumper. But Paul George, who grew up idolizing Bryant, and he showed some Mamba-like instinct late in this game, drives to his left, scores and is fouled with less than a minute to play. That gave Indiana the lead for good, and the Pacers beat the Lakers tonight, 89-87. Taking a peek at the Eastern Conference standings, remember the top 4 seeds get home court advantage for the first round of the playoffs. Indiana right now sitting in 5th, a game ahead of Atlanta, a couple games back of Boston. Still plenty of time to go this season as the Knicks come to town tomorrow. With success comes expectations. That saying rings true for the Ball State men's basketball team as they embark on a new season's journey. That's all for sports. I'm Peter Hood. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. First, it was Jeremiah Davis, then Ryan Weber, then Taylor Persons, all Division I transfers who have helped turn the Ball State basketball program around. Now another, Jontrell Walker, is ready to leave his mark in Muncie.
Oh, very exciting. I'm ready to get out there because I believe we can be something very special.
Walker sat out this year after transferring from Incarnate Word. He averaged over 12 points per game as a sophomore, and when he decided to transfer, several schools pursued him. But there was one thing that made Ball State stand out.
Their development program is very huge. And when I heard that and I seen their development program and I seen the numbers of their previous players, I wanted to be a part of it.
As for what sold head coach James Whitford on Walker,
he was very humble. I thought he was very honest about the fact that he had made some mistakes while he was there. And it was important to me that he acknowledged and addressed them, and I think that's just part of growing up. And he wasn't down there pointing fingers or blaming or any of those things. He was kind of matter-of-factly speaking about the situation and acknowledging that he wasn't perfect by any stretch, and he knew he had some areas to grow in.
And that's exactly what Walker has tried to do in his year off. Grow, off the court and on.
Well, it was funny because I was really focusing on my athleticism and my quickness and things like that, but I ended up finding out I really learned how to play the pick and roll a lot better. You know, I learned just the little gaps, the bounce passes, and little things that are very important in playing the game and just talking and, you know, things like that. And once I seen that, once I got getting better in that area, I started seeing my growth as an all-around player.
He's done a good job. You know, the thing about Jontrell is he's working when you're not looking. You know, like when we're gone, he's getting extra lifts in. He's really working with Robes on getting his quickness, trying to get a little bit faster. And I know he comes in to get extra shots when he needs to. And so he's doing a lot of extra work on his own, which is, I think, a real important part of getting better.
Walker will jump into the rotation next year on a team that has won 20-plus games 2 years in a row. And you bet he expects that kind of success to continue.
I feel like next year we can definitely get up to a big jump and a very good record. Hopefully we can start off at 10-2 or 11-3, just really shock the world. I believe we can be that special as long as we can continue to work hard and play together as a team.
In Muncie, Peter Hood, NewsLink, Indiana.
It was a disappointment. Like I said, 8-8 is not good enough.
Not good enough. That's what everyone in the Colts organization will tell you when talking about last season. And in response to the disappointing year, the organization made a lot of changes in the offseason. Enter new defensive coordinator Ted Monachino.
I want them to look fast. I want them to look like they play together. I want them to look confident in each other, and I want them to look like they're not afraid to make a huge play for us when we need to.
Monachino is trying to make big changes to a defense that ranked 26th in the league last year. It's still early, but his group seems confident they can improve.
I think it's a lot of tools we have in place, and guys are making big strides, and we're improving by leaps and bounds. So I feel real good about what we have.
There's no doubt the Colts have had their fair share of defensive inconsistencies in the Chuck Pagano era, but Pagano is optimistic that will change this season.
We believe every year, and there's going to be things that happen. Our goals and our vision has not changed. We want to be a dominant defense, and until we get there, we're going to keep grinding and doing everything within our power to get to that point.
Around Indy has always been about the offense, scoring a lot of points. We want to be that defense that, when we come out, they cheering also, not just when the offense come out. We don't want to be labeled an offensive team. We want to be labeled, a team.
A team with hopes of lifting the Lombardi at the end of the season. Peter Hood, 24 Hour News 8.